Hi, I'm Pharaoh, and today we're going to stream the Swarm Expedition, but specifically I want to really look into this Direwasp Disintegrator. I'd completely forgotten I was going to upgrade it, and I kind of ground out the 50,000 nanites, and then I didn't actually get round to doing anything with those 50,000 nanites, so might as well, because it's a lot of nanites I've ground out, and I haven't actually looked at the weapon. I think it's because I suddenly went and looked at that alien, and it kind of took the shine off of the potential for the Direwasp Disintegrator, because it's just not going to be as good. It's going to be a rifle, I think. I haven't really looked at the stats fully, but we'll discover that today. What I have got, if I open that a second and turn that off and that off. These are the stats for the A class at the moment underlying, and as is normal for a rifle, they've got no mining stats, but they've got not great stats otherwise. We'll see what happens when we go to S. I have taken a screenshot of the S so that I don't have to kind of show the what's it called, the save editor, because the save editor is one of those things running in the background that could potentially slow the stream down. And the other day with XL, I really seemed to kind of make it play a bit like a screen, a bit like a what's it called, a slideshow. But hopefully, if I just stick to pictures, we should be able to keep that from happening. So let me just shut that down. Right, so I'm going to go into the game. Pull up the game. I like to pull up the game after I've started, because there's a bit of a problem with that at the moment. And I'll pull this out the way, and we'll go.
Hello Pharaoh, and good day to you, sir. Alphas1.
Hi Ignition. Hi Alphas. Good to see both of you. It doesn't like Pharaoh, does it? It doesn't know how to pronounce it. Or Cleo doesn't know how to pronounce it, as we have dubbed her. I might need to find a different voice that can actually work out things. But I don't really want AI running in the background either, because that could slow things down. I like to have a very, very high frame rate in the game. This is running at about 180. And the reason I do that is so that it doesn't stutter in the stream. But if you're running a high frame rate, you don't want anything else running in the background, really. So while I'm here, I'm just quickly going to debrief my fleets. I relented and went and got the Leviathan just because, well, we've got the other living frigate, so we might as well get those psychonic eggs.
Ignition Rex says 118 while you're streaming is nuts.
80. I like it sitting on 180, so that it's multiples of 60 basically. So if it drops between 180 and 120, it's not messing up the frame rate of the stream. I know it's nuts, but you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to visuals. Let's grab these while I'm here. This is just my daily routine on this.
180, my heartbeat just went up.
I mean, if you've got the overhead on your card, it is running in DLSS, so it is slightly being helped out. Right, so let's sell off those. I don't really know if we really need much money in this. I mean, I don't usually go for much money anyway, in No Man's Sky anymore. I haven't done for ages. And then last thing as part of my routine is to send out a new frigate fleet. I've been sending them out on balanced, just to see how they develop. Let's send it out on a long, actually 2 hours 41 and 3 hours something. I can then probably send them out again later after the stream, so that's probably the best one. I think the longer ones you get better rewards. That seems to be my experience with them. Right, I'm going to send the organics out, and the weakness is trade and exploration. So that's the best one. And then send out, oh, gone to the wrong one again. 3 hours 53. So they're leveling up nicely. So we might as well go to the anomaly, because we finally have that 80% mark, and so we can see a slight difference with the, what's Apollo call it again? The prismatic core. They do love using vocabulary in this game. Psychonic. I mean, that's a word nobody had ever heard of, but it is in the dictionary. Never heard of it. Psychonic. So here we have the current iteration of the core. As you can see, the main difference is it's rotating and there's no scaffolding at all now. So it's just being held by those beams. You can see those kind of beams across there. Let's go into photographic mode. I do it just as the beams are no longer visible. But it's firing beams down and across the middle. Let's let it rotate a bit, then we'll get to see that more clearly. If they even stay visible in photographic mode. Yes, they do. So it's being held by these beams, it seems. This thing around the outside, that just says swarm in the No Man's Sky script. So nothing special there, nothing hidden, or I don't think there's any writing on these things. It's exactly the same model, it seems, as the swarmers. So basically, Polo has just built one for us, which makes you think he's kicking the whole thing off in a time loop.
Ignition Rex says, diurnal is not a word I'd heard before. I don't like it.
Diurnal.
And spells too much like diurnal to my slightly dyslexic brain.
It's just diurnal is kind of a reference to the sun god, really. A deity, comes from the same root as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any linguists? It's not an unusual word, diurnal. It's one of those ones that some people just didn't know and some people did. That seems to fade out at different angles. That beam. If I go around here, it fades away.
Ignition Rex says, why not have using daytime / nighttime? For us simple folk.
Because they want to teach us all the words they know, and they want to show how clever they are, which they certainly do. Yeah, this is a one-sided texture. It's a bit lax, isn't it? So it's only visible from underneath on that cross beam, and from that side there, and this side here. Never mind. Not good enough. Should do better. But yeah, I presume now, because this was green around the outside, and now it's the matching colour to the middle. So I presume the outside is now matching whichever team is winning, whereas I don't think it was before. Maybe that's my imagination, I'm not sure. I think it was green though. I did take a photo, but I'm not going to go looking for it now. Right, so let's first off do the missions, get them out of the way. Swarm activity detected, engage. That's space combat one. I usually do that last. Scramble and follow. I usually do that first because it's easiest. I've been building out my bases to stop myself getting battered by the storms. Maybe I'll visit those in a bit. Sodium nitrate. That's one he hasn't asked for a while, I don't think. Right, so let's go and do this one. The percentages, it's definitely sped up a bit. Tuesday to Wednesday, like I track it at 8 o'clock in the morning, UK time. So just before it suddenly goes into the new day, as it were, because it changes at 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. And Tuesday was slow, but every other day this week has been really fast. So I don't know what happened on Tuesday. Whether they had a slight outage or people just didn't want to do it on Tuesday. People wanted to watch a particular game at the World Cup and they didn't do the missions. I don't know. Purple white squid on this planet. It actually looks quite cool. I've been using the microprocessor because I've been given a load as it went along, so I might as well use them up. Giving us these really poor reactors as if they want us to build ships. I don't get it. And then lastly, oops, I need to actually find where we've got to go first before we actually travel to it. Track swarm. Space combat. Eliminate swarms. Yeah, that's the one. Oops, I knew it'd budge off. That one. Does it say House of Fun? Yeah. Someone might be a Madness fan, I guess. Resist singing. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Not quite as effective as the Sentinel, but good enough. I've been slowly upgrading this. So yeah, so I've been upgrading this a little bit. So I've now got a green trail, you may have noticed, and I've kind of mostly upgraded the hyperdrive, definitely upgraded the pulse engine and the shield, and I've got the phase beam, but I don't really need it for this. So
Ignition Rex says, the squid feels more effect in combat than before.
possibly, I don't think I changed the anything. I think they were just an easier swarm. They just stayed their distance for longer. So when they start coming in at you and kind of jousting you, that it can be a little bit trickier. Right, let's go and upgrade this weapon. So just before, let's go back to chat. Before we upgrade it, let's just look at the so the current stats are here. So we'll see how much the damage potential changes in game. So it's 5488. Wrong one. It's that one, I believe. Yep. Upgrade class 50,000 nanites. I still think that's a little bit steep. Direwasp Disintegrator has been successfully upgraded. So it is now 49,584 compared to so it's gone down, I think, which is typical. Let's have a look at the so the damage is 11.76.
It went down. Whoa. Ignition Rex says, no.
Ooh. I thought something had gone wrong then. No. So at S, it's 16.76. So it should have gone up. So why has it gone down? I don't understand. Okay, let's go back to the game. So as we know, the supercharged slots are there and there and there and there.
I'd got my CALC ready to do the math. Percent update. And
Let me just
down.
let's just reload.
195 says, it's a scam.
Darn you, dire wasps! Right, let's see if that's changed it. 49,584. Yeah, it's definitely gone down. That doesn't make any sense at all. I've got one extra supercharged slot, and I might not have actually made that max. Put that there, that there, that there. No, 6.3. That's gone up a little bit now. I think I know what it is. I think I had a different layout when I took that photo. I think I had a layout more akin to this. So yeah, it hasn't necessarily gone down. I think my layout was like this. 63407.9, and then I probably, because I just can't resist kind of tweaking, I moved that from there to there.
Yeah, PH, with the neutron cannon you never SC the main module.
So 66384. We had this discussion before. The neutron cannon can have different. It can be deceptive because so much of the damage potential we see is related to the charging speed, which has really got nothing to do with anything once you've gone beyond a certain point. So it doesn't really make that much difference. Really what you want to do is maximize the damage itself. And we'd have to do the maths for that, which I can't bother to do right now. I think that's probably the best we're going to get, just based on the damage potential numbers.
Alphas195 says, as far as expedition rewards go, the Atlas Scepter is just next level, and I'm glad they haven't offered anything like that. Ignition Rex says, yes sir, I remember that discussion. You're right.
I'm always right about these things. I spend far too much time looking into them. But yeah, I mean, obviously things do change, so you never know. But we've got some dogs fighting outside. I don't know if you can hear that. I really don't want to have to shut the window because it's getting a bit warm again. We've got another heat wave on the way shortly. And what was I going to do with this? I was going to compare it. So let's have a look. 66384.8. If we look at the alien, which has got a different weapon, so it's not a direct equivalent, that's a lot lower there. Maybe we could swap out the weapon. So I'll put everything here, because of course the expedition rewards always have that really nice layout, which really does change things. What I should have done was make a save before this. I think I did jump in and out, didn't I? So I can probably revert all of this immediately afterwards. Move that out of the way. So now let's put the that's the wrong one. But as you can see, this is also a supercharged slot here, and would be here. It's exactly the same layout because all of the expedition rewards are the same multi-tool in different formats. The trouble with the Direwasp one is it's not the equivalent of a staff, so it's the equivalent of a rifle. This one and then that one. Okay, that's the wrong one. That's that one. This is the alien. No, I didn't change the alien. Hi, Ruddick. Good to see you. Let's see if it actually reads ahoy.
Ruddick EU2 Ox says, are odd travelers.
No, it didn't. It's really rubbish at pronunciations. Yeah, so I want the Direwasp, don't I? and I want to move that out. Put those into the alien. Alright, let's put that there for now. These are all spaced out in such a way that it really only works for the bolt caster, so I won't keep it like this. 66224. So that's slightly better, and that's going to be better still. That's probably the best place. So we just need the best. 75017. I don't know if it will change. So yeah, so this is significantly better, even with the slots not being that together. We've still got a much better weapon here, but I don't want that. I guess we should go and test it out on something. Should be in a system with some aggressive sentinels would do, I guess. There's dissonance in this system. Interesting that the
Ignition Rex said,
fight wasn't in a dissonance system.
Install the neutron cannon on the alien and the boltcaster on the direwolf.
Nah, I love the bolt caster too much. The alien's going to be my main weapon anyway, so it's not going to happen. Where is it? There. I make the HUD slightly too small for my own good sometimes. Recognizing the icon for the marked planet in the compass was a bit tricky.
Ignition Rex says, oh, I love the boltcaster too. I'd use the dire. Looks cooler.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad score on the boltcaster. I could always build another boltcaster on it. But part of the point of having 3 weapons on a call it the radial menu, like a weapon wheel. Part of the point of that is so that we can switch between different weapons if necessary. Oh look, it's an NPC though. So it's aggressive sentinels, but I can't see. Gravitino balls anywhere? Yeah. Can't be the closest. 126. 151. That'll do. 105. That's a jump away. Not quite one-shotting the standard drone. The big advantage of this weapon is you don't have to worry too much about the healers, because you can take them out all together when they bunch up.
Weather warning, incoming storm. Warning, sentinel orbital detected.
I don't know what happened the other day. All of my profiles got messed up for my controller, and I don't know if it was because of the controller update, because there was a controller hardware update, or whether Hello Games were messing around, because they seem to have put a Steam controller profile specifically on the Steam Deck. So I don't know if Hello Games have, that is. I don't know if that messed it up. I managed to get it sorted by completely rebooting my PC. But something happened. But I've had to revert back to a slightly older thing, so I don't know if this gyro is quite the way I like it at the moment. I think I'd adjusted it slightly. I can hear the mech, but I can't see it. I think it might be underground. Sometimes it spawns underground, which is really frustrating because you have to go and dig it out. Oh, there it is. No, it hasn't spawned underground. It's definitely there. Well, I would say the weapon's good enough. It didn't take long to beat those. It's a pity it was a storm going on. I'm completely frosted up now. They've definitely fixed that thing where we could get 2 walker brains. Might as well go and check out the nest, even if it is on a separate planet. So yeah, I've got a nice green trail now. Should have done is take a photograph of my current projections on the expedition. Maybe we'll do it right at the end, so if it does cause a bit of a slowdown on my connection, then it won't matter too much. Let's read the law. Access logs. Manifesting personality protocol, voice of the hive. Time cannot go backwards, but universes are not synchronous. In many, your other forms are long since dead. In others, you have not even yet appeared. And after its manifestation in the universe, the Atlas began to repeat itself. Once there had been infinite sentient species. 6 began to then 5, then 4. That was maybe a clue that there were 4 species, because when this law first came out, we didn't have the autophage, did we? Oh, nice. There isn't a green exotic colour, so there's no point checking out the others. I will just... Oh, I can't... Why can I only exchange? We used to be able to just buy these. Just reload just in case that's a glitch. Oh, and hang on, I've got loads of spare aliens that I picked up that I never actually scrapped. That's probably what it is.
Graph North says, how many are you holding?
I'd forgotten, to that point, Gravnort, that I picked up all these aliens. And I haven't scrapped them. So maybe I'll scrap those first. But if I'm going to scrap those, then probably don't need this anyway. Because I was only going to scrap it. But it's nice. If anybody wants this A-class in this expedition, then that's the thing. I can't see where the supercharged slots are. They can't all be obscured, surely. And the address is... Oh, hang on. Scan it. The address is -42.13, -61.42. And the glyphs, if you wanted it, are... Hang on, have I got my macros running? Yes, I have. So this should work. They're the glyphs. And if you're just in the area and want to find it, we'll have to go into space and look at the galaxy map. We should be in the area at the moment. In fact, this is where I fought the swarm. So this is Quasi's House of Fun. Very distinctive name, but you will have to, if it's not already showing up, then the thing is it will put the procedural name, so you can see there, as soon as I look away from it, it says the procedural name, which is Bidetska. But then when we click close to it, it's Quasi's House of Fun. And as you can see, this is the starting planet, Matisvo, and it's in the kind of the general area of the expedition, and it's in the just in the Fennisles what's it called? Fennisles Fringe, which changes about here, I think. No, not quite. About here. I think it's the highest point of the Fennisles Fringe, yeah.
Says, didn't T-Grav discover a system nearby? Grav Nort's House of Pain.
Yes, he definitely had a House of Pain system at one point. Right, so that's that done. We've looked at the multi-tool. I would say yes. I mean, it's a rifle. Rifles aren't great, but as we all know, in No Man's Sky, you don't need the best weapon in order to beat anything. It easily took out a full sequence of sentinels without any real problems. I didn't really have to use any tactical nous or strategy. I just blasted what was in front of me. So yeah, it's a decent weapon. It's a really nice looking weapon. I really like the look of it. I just wish they'd given us, say, the equivalent of a sentinel weapon rather than the equivalent of a standard rifle. That would have made a big difference.
This is the first really cool looking weapon in NMS. Reminds me of the guns in Destiny 2.
That's a bold claim that it's the first really cool weapon. But I can see what you mean. It's the first weapon that really looks like a gun. From a computer game, put it that way. It's a computer game gun weapon. So yeah, I've seen a number of different people talk about different games that it reminds them of. So it's kind of got, I would say that makes it a bit generic.
Sir. PH, absolutely right.
Let's see if I've been here. More salvage frigate module for the collection. Sell off all of those Gravitino balls because I don't really want them. I've got a load in my storage if I ever needed them. I don't think we're going to. Sell. We get much glass. We've got a bit. So we've got one weapon shard. Maybe we can put that on the Direwasp. No, there's no point, is there? Because we haven't got... Oh, we have got a bolt caster in here as well. So I could put that in there. It'd be ironic if that actually ended up better, but I don't think it will. And
Captain Afterland says, afternoon all. I like the Direwasp, but I wish it had an ammo counter.
I didn't realise it didn't have an ammo counter. Let's just go into first person a second. Oh, I can't do it here. I'll have to go down to a planet. I would agree with you. If it doesn't have an ammo counter, that's a little bit lacking. I don't really play in first person very often, so I don't really notice the ammo counter very much.
Ignition
No, it doesn't.
says, what? No ammo counter. Scrap that piece of metal.
Just double checking third. But nope. It's even got the screen there ready for it, but it's got the swarm thing on it. Could easily put it there. Oops, I've gone right inside them. We could easily put it there. Strange.
Ignition Rex says, oh, it's got such a huge profile in first person. No good.
It's not that bad, is it? Yeah, I guess. It's a little bit big. It feels a little bit in your face, doesn't it? I wouldn't have thought it would be being held quite in that position. No, I can't look at yourself in third person. You have to look in third. You have to do that first. It feels from the eye position there that's far too high in first person. They've kind of positioned it a bit too high. Yeah, that should be at least a few inches down, I think.
Ignition Rex says, it's far, far too high. It's nearer your ear than your hands.
Yeah, maybe we should let them know. Maybe we should send them some... let me just change the weapon to the pistol for a second. No, that doesn't help. See, I mean, that is a little bit high, but it's not like taking over the real estate too much. And that doesn't actually feel that bad at all, I don't think.
Ignition Rex says that the gun holding position of Bollywood movies.
Oops. I don't really want to be making holes near my base. Sorry, I missed that. I'll read that again. Gun holding position of Bollywood, yes. Certainly not modern American movies, because they'd be holding it to the side no matter what weapon it was, or a slight angle. It's like slightly jaunty, look at how good I am with guns, I don't have to hold it straight.
Technology recharged.
Right, so we've looked at the weapon. We're about 55 minutes in, so maybe we'll have a quick talk about the weapon, because oh, I know what I was going to do. For the 5 minutes while I wait until the hour up, we'll go and have a look at all of these bases. I've changed all of these bases a bit. You can see them in the thing, because so many of them were storm planets. I've given myself some shelter. So in this one, for instance, and most of them are like this. There's just I don't have to get out. I just got out by mistake, which means it's tricky to get back in. There you go. I don't have to get out in order to access the items.
Technology recharged.
And I think the only one that's a little bit more complex is it that one? Yes, that one. This is the one where it keeps messing up between ammonia and sodium. So we'll see what it does today. I've had to reposition it again, so I think it's clearly a glitch in the game. It's when you're trying to access two different things. This should be sodium. It is at the moment.
Technology recharged.
And then I've had to, because we've got three different things on this planet, so I've got that here.
Technology recharged.
And then I've got a corridor to get to the other one. Oh, they're working fine at the moment. Ammonia on that one.
Technology recharged.
So let's go back to my freighter. I'm not going to visit them all. They're all boxes. There's nothing special about any of the bases, but it's just so I don't have to go into the storms. I don't want to get my lovely green armor wet, corroded, or melted, or whatever else they do. So, let's go back to chatting. So what do we reckon? Do we think that the Direwasp Disintegrator is a good weapon overall? Let's go back to the main picture. Do we think this thing is worth it? Do we think we've been shortchanged a bit? Because, like, compared to other expedition weapons, especially the staffs, I think most of them have been staffs, haven't they? And maybe we'll go to the anomaly in a minute and just have a look, see what else there's been. But compared to the other weapons, I feel like we've been a little bit shortchanged. I feel like a rifle profile in terms of stats is a little bit underwhelming. What do you reckon? While you're thinking about that, I'll just pull up the stats for different types of weapons.
Ignition Rex says. 1 lack of ammo counter. 2 very high first person view. It's a no-go no-show for me.
Yeah, I agree with those points. I do think there should be an ammo counter, definitely, as he just pointed that out. Captain Afterland pointed that out. In fact, kind of wish you hadn't pointed that out to me because it's really put it down in my estimation.
Mick Kelgisel says. Immediately adapted it as DMG happy smiley.
Well, I think I can guess what the edited out thing is. I'm guessing that you thought the damage was crap, basically.
Captain Afterland says. In terms of damage, it's not really close to some other weapons, but I like the looks.
Yeah, that's my problem, is that if you're going to give us a reward for doing an expedition, and for this one, this has been a real grind. I feel like it could have been a little bit better. So if we look at, say, the damage profiles, let's pull the browser up.
Says, Captain Afterland saved us all. TJH.
Yeah, now we don't have to worry. So let's pull and get rid of that picture. So if we look at the stats for different weapons, in fact, if I zoom in slightly to that, browser, Alt, let's do that, and do that, and do that, and do that. I always do these things on the fly. I don't like doing things in the background and then switching to them. I just think it's a lot easier to just acknowledge what you're up to. So here we are. So if we look at the rifle stats, for instance, we're talking about a maximum damage of plus 20. And then if we look down the list, experimental plus 25, alien is 35, and sentinel is 50, so double the base stats. Yeah, I have, just so you know, Mikhail Gissel, I have the thing on, what's the word? Censorship, and it really doesn't like the word tool. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but censoring the word tool feels a little bit over the top. But I'm not going to turn off censorship just for the basis of its strange censoring. So yeah, I've just looked at the proper chat, and clearly you've said damage tool, but it still picked it up with the zeros. So this is what it says here. Look.
Gisel says, was supposed to say DMG.
So yeah, there's no getting around it. It's very strict. So yeah, the Atlantid and the staff. The Atlantid is 20 and the staff is 50. The Atlantid is the same, well, not quite the same as an experimental.
Ignition Rex says, why? 'Cause one time a viewer said he pulled out his Clio did not approve.
Absolutely. Cleo's a bit of a prude. So yeah, I feel like it's not great. And the looks are good. It is, as we said, a little bit high up in the view. No damage, no counter, which is a bit disappointing. But it does look nice. You don't need a great weapon, but I would say we have been slightly shortchanged, I feel like. They could easily have made it just an experimental and that would have been just that little bit better. Or, I mean, let's be honest, it's from a new race that's come in. Make it an alien. An alien would be perfectly fine. It's not the absolute best, but it would be... let's get the alien back on the screen. An alien would be 35 damage. And then it's got reasonably good rounded stats. So it's got a reasonably high scan. It's got a reasonably high mining. Making an alien would have been a bit nicer, I think. It is an alien tool. It's just not kind of that strange flesh-looking thing. So it's a little bit disappointing. I think we have been shortchanged, personally.
Grafnort says, it's a good mining gun that you can only get when you no longer really need it. There's such late game acquisitions that they become unimportant.
Yeah, that's probably true.
195 says, I feel they are saving the best for the 10YR anniversary expedition.
Yeah, I've been saying this a little bit. It's slightly tongue-in-cheek, but when people are complaining about this expedition, then one of the things I've been saying is, well, they didn't really want to put too much effort into it because they've got so much on their plate at the moment. They're doing all that amazing work that we haven't seen yet on the anniversary, and they're putting so much work into Light No Fire so they can release it soon. And of course, we don't know what they're doing for the anniversary, and we have no idea when they're releasing Light No Fire. So it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek to say that, but this does, as we've said before, feel like a precursor to an update, as opposed to part of the update. So it feels a little bit like they've instead of releasing an expedition with an update, they've released the expedition that leads up to the update, and that something about the swarm is related. So yeah, I guess you could say they're leaving something better, but I bet they don't give us a new multi-tool in the update. Is that actually going to play?
Mick Kelgisel says, well, as long as fighting is not harder than it is, doesn't matter too much. Just looks like a weapon more than any other.
Yeah, and that is true, that unless they suddenly bring in a really, really tough thing on land, then it's not really going to make a lot of difference. And even if they did bring in something really tough on land, one thing they could do to redeem it is they could give us some specialist technology that only fits on that particular gun. And then that way we would be able to use it specifically for defeating whatever they bring in the expedition, after the expedition. That could be one way of doing it. My bet is that they probably wouldn't, because making it very specific to one particular... Hang on. I should have had that turned off. Minor emergency, but nothing important, and apparently it can wait. So okay, let's ignore that for now. Where was I? What was I just saying? Yeah, so Let's answer that question because it's relevant.
You think there will be a boss fight after core completion?
There definitely will be because we've got it listed. If you look at the expedition, phase 3, after the prismatic core, the very next one is ward against the hive of glass, and then the next one is destroy the hive of glass. But I assume that these are both going to be space related. Ward against the hive of glass will probably be constructing a piece of technology for our ship so that we don't get blasted by the hive of glass just by flying near it, which currently we do. And then destroy the hive of glass will probably be a space fight shooting that thing in space, which they called the Emperor of Glass in this phase. So yeah, we're definitely going to be going into space. What would be nice is if there was also a ground-based thing and that it actually gave us a use for this weapon. But it doesn't look like, or not that weapon. It doesn't look likely that that's going to happen. So yeah, if they gave us some technology specifically for this weapon, that could be a way around it. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Captain Afterland says, if it were me, I'd have it sync with the armor set for bonuses, but I don't make the rules.
That could work as well, actually. They don't like to have things that are appearances actually making a difference. But then you're saying that maybe they do really, because this these give a slight bonus. It's not a big one, but they do give a slight bonus. So, and that's only a visible thing from an expedition or Quicksilver. I can't remember which. So yeah, that could work.
One says, greetings.
I quite like that idea, Captain Afterland. Hello, King Lich. Good to see you. Yeah, that could work because they're going to give us the armor anyway at the end. And then you'd have a choice if you want to wear that armor. And obviously the armor would go quite well with the weapon.
Mikkel Gisel says, maybe a Star Wars ending, hit the shield generator on ground, then finish the Death Star in space, happy smiley.
Yeah, that's the one thing I feel. I made a whole video on why I think the combat doesn't really work isn't very effective in this game. And one of the things I felt that the reason it's lacking is because as a fire team of 4 people, and you never know, they might increase it. I bet they don't, but as a fire team of 4 people, they don't give us anything kind of strategic to do. For instance, exactly as you've described there, the shield generator on the ground, if like 2 people had to go down and had to actively fight off some opposition while they kept the shield generator down, while another 2 people were up in space doing 2 different things to defeat the enemy in space, then all of a sudden you've got strategy involved. Do we send 2 people down? Do we send 1 person with a good weapon down? Do we dedicate 3 people to the space thing? You could have an extra thing in there where you had to do something else before you got the coordinates, but also involved a fight. Do you put everybody on that, or do you split the team up? These are the things that really take away from the combat. The combat itself, I don't feel is a problem. I feel like we've got a really, really good variety of weapons. We have a nice selection of enemies. They are a little bit weak compared to our weapons at the higher level, so they could do something about that. But it's this lack of strategy that really kind of, or just kind of tactical choices that really kind of takes away from it all. So yeah, that kind of thing. Whereas I don't think they will necessarily do it, because they've never shown any inclination to do it before, would be really good. So I definitely agree with you with there, Mikkel Gisel. Just call him Mikkel from now on. I definitely agree that kind of thing would work. and is one of the main core elements of what's lacking in the combat in this game. Let's explore that a bit more. Let's go into... probably need to switch out of the expedition to really explore that. Yeah, let's go into my kind of completely overkill save. And I'll go to the anomaly and we'll look at the kinds of missions we have. What should we take out? We'll take the golden vector. Let's be old school. I definitely think they're changing the freighters, though. If you may have noticed, every time we fly out of the hangar bay, we just get caught on the lip as we come out, so it bumps us. And also, if you go to an NPC freighter, the ships just come in from all angles, straight through the wall of the hangar. So that, to me, tells me that they're changing something. And they've already changed some of the animations and some of the dimensions, but we haven't seen what we're changing into yet. So I think the hangar at least is changing. I reckon that they're doing a major thing with freighters in this anniversary update. We will see. So yeah, hunt dangerous pirates would be a similar thing. We could, if we're going in a group of people, then that could be more interesting. We could send people down to planets to find out information and to maybe disrupt things, use some kind of technology on the ground. Purge the infestation. It's very basic. We just go down, find the infestation, shoot it a lot, and pick up the bits. That could be much more exploratory. We might have to kind of spread out to find things and then reconverge at the end for a purge. Collect minerals. There's probably not much you can do with that. And taming fauna, probably not. But things like destroy depots, again, that could be much more strategic. Doesn't like clicking the button.
Heart 6246 says, I suspect that for the 10-year anniversary we will get a swarm ship. Possible we will able to build it from swarm scrap, sort of autophage corvettes.
Maybe. I mean, the leak. If anybody is watching this later on, doesn't.
Says, I do wish we had more things to sew in space in general.
Yeah, that is a lacking thing. The way that they introduced space anomalies was good at the time, but it does kind of demonstrate that kind of static things in space are a little bit lacking. And again, that is something they could do. They could introduce like player-built spaceports, for instance, like just simple bolt-on bits rather than like a full-on building system, but like slightly customizable player-based space systems could be really nice. Or space stuff. Hacker Sentinel Pillar. See, that one, again, could be a little bit more strategic, or at least tactical. That one's probably not always going to stay the same. The stranded rescued thing is slightly boring, but you do at least have to spread out and find something. In Survey a Planet, you do at least have to spread out and find stuff. So it's the fighting ones that really need the work, I feel like. Let's go back to that.
Carl Meinhardt 6246 says, I suspect that for the 10-year anniversary we will get a swarm ship. Possible we will able to build it from swarm scrap, sort of autophage corvettes.
Yeah, in the leak, and if anybody doesn't want to know about the leak, which may or may not be true, then either mute for a couple of minutes and then I'll clap when I've finished. Or if you're watching on recording, well, actually, if you're watching on the recording, just mute and then see when I clap. In the leak, they talk about potentially being able to walk into all ships, or at least some ships, possibly particular types of ships. So we could see some kind of ship stuff. I'm not sure if we'll actually get swarmer stuff, but I guess we could use the swarmer technology. They could give us some parts that were swarmer-like for corvettes. They could give us a new type of ship, definitely. And whether they'd look exactly like the swarm, I have no idea, but they could do that kind of thing. So yeah, that's talking about the leak over. So
Captain Afterland says, I like the idea of using swarm tech to make our ships appear as friendlies to sneak past the Hive's defenses.
that could work. That's the other question. Do we think that the Hive is going to stick around, or is it just for this expedition? It seems like an awful lot of work just for an expedition. And we're trying to defeat them. Will we suddenly discover something new about the Hive? Some people have said maybe we're the bad guys again. Maybe we're defeating things that we shouldn't be killing. But they're obviously attacking us. They've disrupted us. So, but maybe that was an accident. For those of you old enough, we will not forgive your unprovoked attack, as the beginning of what was that what was the actual name of that program? Jerry Anderson. I've forgotten. Somebody remind me before I look it up, but I'm going to look it up now anyway. It wasn't UFO. Captain Scarlet, of course it was. Captain Scarlet.
Captain Afterland says, Captain Scarlet.
Of course it was, thank you. I'm not the only old person here. Let's get that thing back on there. Hang on. Oh, it's not tracking me. I'm trying to use better posture and it's not tracking me up. Hang on.
Mick Kelgisel says, I like the ability for traveler-created experiences, like racetracks and the music system. Working on an interactive disco myself equals.
Yeah, I do like those things. So they are kind of toys within the game, as it were. So they're not really major features of the game, but I do like them. In this particular save, for instance, I have a base that you can download my Sentinel Attacks music. Where do we get that? Where do we go first? It's so long since I've used it. There it is. Sentinel Attack. I'd have to turn the music up so you can hear it. So I'll have to go back into settings first, won't I? What is it? General?
Kinglick451 says, well,
I'll catch up with chat properly in a second. Hang on. And this is very aimed at sounding electronic, so it's kind of a bit squeaky and Sentinel-like, I guess. Develop. There we go. if you're not aware of it, for those people that have come across the Byte Beat recently, there is a system that was being featured for a while. I should have a bass there. There it is. I don't know if the bass still works. It was kind of a demonstration of sloped corridors, but I'm not sure if the corridors shut up at some point. I think I had to add some joining stuff when my channel was almost entirely buildings things. So yeah, you can come to this system and you can not only download this wondrous tune that you're all desperate to grab, but there are loads of different basses here with different tunes. So it's not just this one. Let's have a look how many bases they're actually currently loaded in. So it says 23, but I think you'll probably find there are a lot more than 23. And most of them are tune bases. As you can see, they named everything after music. And Veritas Velez, who contributes a lot to the FM thing, the Byte Beat radio thing. Right, now that's a bit... This music was specifically designed for fighting Sentinels, and I'm not fighting Sentinels at the moment. So maybe I should turn the music off, because otherwise it's a bit grating. When you turn the music off, you still hear that kind of echo in the background. Right, let's catch up with chat and see what's been said.
Graphnort says, perhaps we should be looking at the corrupt sentinels as bees and these new swarm sentinels as wasps. Wasps always go after the beehive. Perhaps the wasps are enemies of the Void Mother.
Maybe. I mean, lore-wise, I do think it's not.
Interesting.
Lore-wise, I do think that the there's always been a hint that the Void Mother has factions, because when we first went and saw the anomaly. Oh, I was going to give you the. First of all, just double check this is in Euclid. It should be. I'll do it this way because it should show me. Yeah, so it is in Euclid, and those are the glyphs. So if you want to come here and download a few tunes that other people have made, it's a great place to come. A lot of the tunes are a lot better than mine. But yeah, as I had been spending time making that Sentinel Attacks thing, I thought I'd make a base that featured it. It's got a few flashing lights, and it looks like the... No, that is still working. The lights are still working properly. Where were we?
Captain Afterland says, I like versions of some Angender Poitrin tracks, but I think they'd be hard to make.
Yeah, I don't think we have microtones. I don't think we do. So that would be pretty difficult.
Mick Kelgisel says, the Byte machine you build on bases, you can chain 8 synths together. Doesn't require music knowledge, but certainly helps.
Yeah, a little bit of new music knowledge helps. And also a little bit of knowledge of old 8-bit synthesizers. Because we go down to the bass. So we've got 8 chained together here. To get the individual kind of waveform stuff, I think is something that you probably need to remember your 8-bit synthesizer knowledge. I had a little bit of 8-bit synthesizer knowledge, so I kind of designed a couple of the sounds because I wanted them to sound a particular way. Where did I put the... Save it. Did I come here from the anomaly? I can just go back to the anomaly, can't I? Yeah, I do like it. I haven't played with the Byte Beat for a long, long while. Maybe I should play with it on a stream one day and we'll just design some music together. Because it is fun. And I think it's an underrated part of the game. I feel like you can learn quite a lot about music just by playing with it. You can learn about tempo, you can learn about waveforms. You can learn about kind of movements of music. Where's my ship gone? There it is. Right, I'm going to save in the anomaly, then I'll go back to my swarm. And racetracks, again, are a quite underrated part of the game. A few of us have been saying for a long, long while that one thing that Hello Games could potentially do to kind of retire the game, if you want to see it that way, is that they could start giving us more of the tools to make missions and to do things like that.
Mick Kelgisel says, you need a Discord, so we can organize stuff like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm a little bit reticent to use Discord. I do use it to chat to people, but I don't really like the platform that much. But it is quite good at what it does. These are still messed up. Whenever we select them, they don't properly go back to their basics unless we go completely out. I think if we go out of this door and then back in, I think it tends to reset them properly. No, it hasn't done. You can reload and it will reset properly.
Mick Kelgisel says, or guild system in game.
Yeah, that's something we are lacking.
Plus it'll require you to get into the whole channel management thing on Discord.
Yeah, that is one of the problems with Discord, is you have to kind of manage it. Yeah, I suppose some of the bigger streamers actually have people that manage that kind of thing for them, but even then, I mean, do they pay them? I don't know. It feels like something they should do if they're getting people to do that kind of thing. I don't really believe in getting people to just help you with your streaming project without payment. Right, what have we got to do? I feel like I've done most things now. I've upgraded my ship nicely. I don't really need to put many more slots in. I will get slots as I see them, but I don't think I need to upgrade it that much. I've upgraded this multi-tool as much as I'm probably likely to. I've upgraded this multi-tool as much as I'd like to. And I'm only really carrying a staff just because I like holding a staff every now and again. I think it looks cool. It's not because I'm particularly using it for anything. So yeah, we've upgraded that. We've done the oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to run a few derelict freighter missions. Just for the old school way of getting some modules rather than go pirating or shooting dreadnoughts, which we can't even do in the expedition, I don't think, because they've changed all of the spawns to... I don't want to spend that. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll take the Direwasp, see how bad that first person view is fighting derelicts. I believe I've got... Is it in my other ship? Let's have a quick look. I normally do. We've got one emergency, so we can only do one before we start buying them. But we do have loads of cash, so we could just do that. What do we need money for in this game? I don't really... Oh, I hate it when it does that. Sound effect bug. I mean, some people will chuck these things into their refiner. I don't even know if that still works, and that's kind of stops it being deleted. I don't like doing that. I feel like it's too much of an exploit. We'll start off. We'll run a couple, and we'll get some bulkheads. Even though bulkheads can be got a lot more efficiently, or should I? No, bulkheads can be got a lot more efficiently now. So we'll just grab some modules and see if we can find an S-class one. We'd have to be lucky, but. It's the first time we've done one, obviously. We have to go through the whole thing.
Ignition Rex says, honestly, game has too many exploits. HG should close the loop on some of them. Number 1, drop the portable refiner entirely.
Yep, that's what I keep saying. Get rid of the portable refiner. Just make it a build item that doesn't do anything. I don't really understand why they've kept it for so long. When they started using the personal refiner in some expeditions, I really thought it was the beginning of the end for the portable refiner, but they just didn't do it.
Graph Naught says, number 2, get rid of curious deposit respawns.
Yeah, I don't understand why they respawn in a different way to plants. If you go out onto... When you're oh, that's nice. Got the first time. Don't have to worry about doing those anymore. But I'm in a save that I probably do need all of the stuff I can get. So, what was I saying? Yeah, if for instance you're farming, say, Starbulb.
Graph Naught says, it was a glitch they didn't fix because we all got addicted to the free nanites.
Probably, yeah. If you're, say, farming Starbulb, then if you go to a planet and just build a base next to some growing Starbulb that you didn't plant, it's it takes ages to respawn. So I don't understand why they didn't just use that.
Ignition Rex says, Graph, if they do that, you'll be a wanted man. Players love their CU deposit.
Well, they can still use it. It's just that they wouldn't respawn as quickly. So they'd have to do more of them. They'd have to build 3 or 4 bases instead of just one base. So is that such a hardship? It just feels silly that it respawns immediately as soon as you walk away. I think the other thing they could do, if they want, because the next thing would happen if they got rid of the I keep missing because I haven't got you on the thing.
Player doing chlorine multiplication and deposit farming in 2026. Come on. Mick Kelgisel says, they could respawn 1s a week and still be good deal.
Yeah, I agree.
There's tons of curious deposits on each planet. They are the same as metal fingers, and should be treated as such.
How are metal fingers different? Don't they respawn as well? I've never tried to respawn metal fingers, but I would have assumed that they'd do exactly the same thing.
Temperature levels stabilizing. Temperature levels stabilizing.
Losing track of where I am here.
Temperature levels stabilizing. Technology recharged.
Let's go through this door. Oh, I was just so close to the door, I could see through it. That's a bit of an exploit, isn't it?
Fingers do not respawn. Not that I've seen any. What graph means is, CU depot should be like metal fines. Graph Nort says, metal fingers and sack venom are also the 3-star yellow icon resource. They do not respawn.
Fair enough.
One harvest only.
Why are these in the roof? Why didn't they fix this? This is something that always bugs me. It's another glitch that they could have fixed at some point. No ammo. What? I have got ammo. It wasn't letting me reload for some reason. Now where are you? Perhaps I should be using the neutron cannon. It would be a lot quicker. Maybe I should be in first person for this. Although it really does, as we've discussed, make it a little bit harder to see. The thing is, I have this spatial, the way my brain works, I just don't see it after a while. I just see through it almost.
Ignition Rex says, can't see Jack squat on the right side, atrocious.
Well, yeah, but if you've already looked there, you know what's there, you know. So we've been in here before. That was the pink, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. So there's the door. We haven't looked at these racks here.
451 says, it does look cool, like a gun from Doom.
See, this is, again, other people are mentioning different weapons, as you are. So it kind of, it suggests it's very much a gamer gun.
On top of my head. Doom.
We should maybe let them know that it's not a very good position. Send in those reports via the Zendesk. Let them know that we're not happy with the position.
451 says, haha.
They respond better, I think, to if you tell them that you're not enjoying the weapon because it's obscuring your view in first person, as opposed to this is rubbish, the view is terrible. If you tell them that you're not enjoying the game as much because of it, then that kind of, to a developer, that's kind of much more important. If you say, I really like the gun, but I can't enjoy using it because... So I feel like I'm starting a campaign now. I'm telling people what to tell Hello Games. If I just gone back, 3... Let's get this weapon changed.
Ignition Rex says, Pharaoh for president.
I think it's a bit of an oxymoron, a pharaonic president. There's nothing there. So I have been in here, haven't I? I'm going backwards. So where was the other door? I try and resist using the scanner because the scanner is a little bit overly easy for its... It must be through there. It shows you where the doors are and everything. Right, so there's nothing here. Some more sentinels here, so we've not been here. Doing the opposite of speed running them at the moment. I don't think I've done a derelict for weeks. These could be changed a little bit too. I feel like they're a little bit underdeveloped. I'd like to see something new in them. Again, the leak suggests we might see something new in them, but nothing that dramatic. I don't know if the leak is real, and I won't go into the details. I made a whole video on the leak if anybody's interested. Included the text on the screen. I just think of it as quite likely. With a weapon like this, though, it does feel like you're using a gun properly. You're kind of moving your whole body with the gun. So it's quite an immersive feeling using it. How many of them are there? I feel like the denizens in here are a little bit weak too. They're balanced for an earlier stage of play than you're likely to use to actually come here. A bit like Gravnot was saying about some of the weapons being balanced for later stages, but you're not likely to do them earlier, use them earlier, or get them earlier.
Received.
One thing they could do, and I've kind of talked about this in speculations of what they could do with the game, they could change the entire early storyline to be more like an expedition. I have loads of milestones to do, and include things like this early on when you're not quite as OP. Right, let's read the log. Date stamp 2099.4. The vessel is ours by right of conquest, by the laws of those who came before us. No more shall we follow, no more shall we beg. Gra, it's obviously Viking. The plunder shall be ours and ours alone. Date stamp 2148.2. Their whining has a certain stench to it. They are like beasts wallowing in their own lies, wondering aloud if their old captain was not more of a warrior than I. Perhaps I shall take their tongues. Date stamp 2159.3. None among the crew fired until they were sure I might live. I had to kill the creature myself, its venom coursing through my leg. They wish me dead. They can wish all they want. Crew fired. Okay. So in other words, when they didn't fire at the creature, they just hoped it would take him out. Date stamp 2137.0. Autologging transmission. Words not translatable. May have been swearing in Viking. I imagine Viking's got some good swear words that aren't just gra.
Captain Afterland says, if there is a big freighter update, derelicts could be altered to find /learn new parts, rather than the occasional decorative item.
Yeah, I mean, we are using it for getting bulkheads and modules, and so, but they kind of put in a better thing for that by allowing us to get those modules automatically at S-class by destroying dreadnoughts and freighters. They kind of took away the incentive. And then, yes, we can get bulkheads. But again, you can get bulkheads in other ways. Like, for instance, the rescue freighter missions. So we don't have an awful lot of reason to come here. I was surprised with Corvettes when they said, oh, we can get Corvette parts in these, which we can at the end. Why they didn't give us unique Corvette parts that we can't get anywhere else. So yeah, again, very similar to the idea of having some unique freighter parts and unique freighter technologies. It just seemed odd that they didn't make these exceptional. Where's the door?
Thermal protection falling.
That's the way in. Can't see it. I'm going to have to use the scanner in a minute. Did I come into a purple door? No. Could be one of the very rare branching ones, I guess.
Thermal protection falling.
Yep, I think it is. Unless it was purple, I didn't pay attention. Yes, it was purple. So there's one down there.
Thermal protection falling. Technology recharged. Received.
The other thing I felt like they should have done that I honestly thought they had done when I first came into one of these is make each derelict story a mystery that if we solve it we get different rewards. So as we're reading all these snippets as we go around, we've got a reason to try and work out what happened. So when we access the logs, we can actually then choose the right answer and gain access to something. I mean, they're thematically linked to each other, but they're not. Once you've read a few of them, they're not that great. Extract nanites, fabricate items. I'm going to go for a bulkhead, but I kind of want to know if it's an S-class or not. Yeah, let's go for the technology upgrade to start with. It's a C-class, so we know not to come back to this one.
Captain Afterland says, that would be interesting. I barely read the logs once I've found a security login.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that the logs are actually quite nice once you've read them a few times. There's a certain number of them as well, and if you go to your catalogue, I think it's in collected knowledge, other. So you can reread them. You can reread the log, and there's a certain number of them. And even in my OP save, where I've got just about everything and all of the lore and all of the titles and everything I can possibly think of, when they put the Derelict Freighter lore into here, I had to start doing them all again, and I still haven't finished that. So, and reading through them while I'm trying to complete that, I do quite like the lore. It is interesting, and you kind of take it for granted a bit. Let's go and get some tainted metal. Completely missed. It's because this ship has got a very different flight profile to the other ship, I reckon. The other thing I think's odd, if you were to actually use this guy instead of getting guild rewards, you get the race rewards, which feels a little bit strange.
Captain Afterland says, even if finding the whole story was a way to improve guild / faction standing like the crew manifest and captain's log, it would be something.
Yeah, just some kind of extra reward, just as you say, even if it's nominal, even if it's just, it would just be a bit more engaging. It'd feel a little bit more gamey. It would gamify it a bit more. It's a good way of getting nanites, for instance, especially early game when you're not really getting them that quickly.
There are many options, but there isn't much incentive.
Well, we'll see. Or do you mean there's many options at the end of what we can actually grab? Well, there are many options that they could change the game. I think there is incentive to slowly improve things as they go along. But that general kind of progression loop, the last time they really looked at it was when they released the Switch update, I think. And I think it needs another look at the progression and how everything's integrated. Because things feel a little bit out of order and a little bit... for a start, I feel like loads of things are thrown at you very early on in the game. Maybe too much. Which is why I think that an expedition... if you imagine that there was a phase to get off the first planet, and it talked you through getting off the first planet, but in phases, and maybe gave you a few little rewards to help you, a bit like we have in an expedition. It wouldn't have to be in this format either. It wouldn't have to look exactly like an expedition, but just something with a similar idea where we can choose what we're doing next. We could make the visuals very different. It wouldn't have to be multiple phases. It could just be a single phase. Get off the planet and a number of things that we have to do for it. And then the next stage of progression, you could have a story progression like we have, and also an expedition like progression, but you get to the next step and you need to do a number of things to expand the game, rather than all of the things just being thrown at us in a somewhat random order. I feel like they could just take another really hard look at how the game plays for a new player. Which would be appropriate for an anniversary update, after all. But I know for a fact that if they made an entire update that was about the new player and playing through the game, then a lot of the veteran players would just see it as nothing at all. They wouldn't even... They'd just see it as a not particularly great update. Whereas I'm kind of invested in how the game plays, not just my own progress.
KingLick451 says, yeah, the moment I found out about Corvettes, I haven't used another starship.
And I can understand that, because I mean, I made a whole series of videos about how game-changing the Corvettes are. And they're ridiculously game-changing. And I mean, that's fine. I didn't mind that at all. But then change the way the game flows into that information. I can grind that. I can sell that. I didn't look at it. It was what I've actually got that I can. Radiant shards.
451 says,
There.
I would like to use starships, a more practical reason to have them. It would be nice.
Maybe. I feel like Corvettes are a jack of all trades, and so for instance you can't make a Corvette that's as good as your best fighter, but that goes back to that problem that we don't really have any enemies where we really need to be that good, so we don't really have an incentive to have a really good fighter.
Mick Kelgisel says, like taking a solar ship out once in a while for style.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do like the solar ships personally. Yeah, they could do a number of things, couldn't they? And I'm not complaining about the fact they haven't done them. It's just that my priorities of what they should do next are possibly a little bit different to what theirs are.
Technology recharged.
KingLick451 says, exactly my point. The game has a lot of things you can do, but you can't particularly delve into one aspect of the game. Such as combat, for example.
I mean, you can and you can't. I mean, you can really delve into the maths of it all and work out how to min-max, but it's not that deep unless you're really, really into it. But yeah, I mean, the incentive to do so is very low.
Captain Afterland says, by contrast, I've enjoyed making custom fighters on this expedition. Haven't really missed using a Corvette.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't missed the Corvette. In a much more complicated expedition where you're having to find approximate locations, I find Corvettes are a lot easier. And I do like the Corvettes in general. It doesn't bother me that we haven't got them in this expedition. Clearly they changed their mind halfway through at some point, because all of the trailers show Corvettes, so Maybe see if these are better than what I've got. That one's okay. That one's only got 2 shield strength. That one's also got... So that's probably going to be better than... Probably don't need the core health. What have I got? 2, 3, 4, 7, yeah. Take that out. Double check I'm not going down in core health. No, I'm not. So that's got 2. Shield 33, fuel efficiency 24. Shield 27, solar. I think I'm probably better off as I am. Let's dismantle that one. That can go in my ship. Well, I've got loads of them now. That's probably to sell. Got far too many wiring looms now. And that can go in there. Probably sell that skeletal thing. Was that? Yeah, let's scrap that. I do wish this had some kind of filter on it. Once you have a full inventory, it gets very complicated to find things. Don't need an upgrade chart. Probably could have kept that, but it's not important.
Ignition Rex says, will HG take a few weeks off after Swarm Expedition to prepare us for the Aniv update?
Yeah, I don't think we'll...
Back to back.
I don't think it'll be back to back, but they could do. I mean, the reason they could do is if the ending was something specific. But then we're going to have enough of a gap anyway. Let's take the risk of pulling up XL. What's the worst that could happen? XL. Get rid of that visibility. Get rid of the browser. Not sure what this box is. What's that box? Window capture. So that should be Excel. So we go to properties. Why isn't that showing? capturing the whole screen, but never mind, that'll do. Let's zoom in. So our current progress suggests that we're going to end very early in the morning on Friday the 10th. So in about, or just less than a week's time. And then we'd have almost 2 weeks to complete. Now, I think we'll actually finish earlier than this, because if you look at this, this is a little bit steeper. I can't get my pointer. You can see that the last of that blue line is just a little bit steeper than the weekly projection that I use. So we might be speeding up, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we sped up towards the end. So we could easily end on the Wednesday, which would be this line. You can't see the line, that's annoying. I haven't got it on cursor, but never mind. If you look at the blue line, you can see, actually I could probably zoom in a bit. There. So if you look at that blue line towards the top where it goes red, it's a little bit steeper than the current projection of the red line, because I like to use, just get my hand the right way, I like to use it as a weekly projection, not a daily projection. But the last couple of days have been quicker, and the blue line has started to steepen up, which could mean that if you consider those last two top right squares or long rectangles as weeks, then it could mean we'll have 2 whole weeks. So it will actually end on the Wednesday, which would make a lot of sense. They've got 2 weeks to then potentially just do a changeover of the update. So they could theoretically update immediately at the end.
Regarding the 10th anniversary, it's 5 weeks and 2 days until August the 9th, release date anniversary, and that falls on a Sunday.
Yeah. They're not beholden to that exact date, though, are they? I mean, they could release it any time from the end of this expedition onwards. If this is a story that leads into the anniversary update, it would make sense to go into it relatively quickly. Whether they would do that, who knows? Whether they would give themselves some time. I imagine that they've already got a lot of what they're going to do in hand. They seem to be tinkering with multiplayer at the moment, because if you watch, like, for instance, I think Captain Steve did a video on looking at multiplayer bases, and Captain Cynical did, and other people have noticed that there have been a few changes to base visibility, which have kind of come in and out. So they might be kind of tinkering, checking what works, what doesn't work, and taking it back out again.
Ignition Rex says, so, Pharaoh, are we going to treat it to a 24 hours live stream from you for the 10th anniv?
I doubt it very much, because I don't think I have the stamina for a 24-hour thing. How people do that, I have no idea. I get very fatigued after about 6 hours. If I stream for 6, like some of the expeditions I've done, I have just gone right through the expedition in one stream, and that can take me 6 hours or so. That can be really, really tiring, and the quality of what I'm saying and doing towards the end drops considerably, because yeah, I'm not necessarily making a lot of sense. I'm going to use that. I'm in two minds as to whether to go to a known S-class freighter, one of the ones I found in the past. Could do that. Maybe I'll do that as a separate stream, because then I can put it in the title and people will know what I'm doing. So they'll know that the stream is about S-class derelicts. I've only got the one, haven't I? Let's get that. So I've nearly completed my grind for salvage frigate modules. I just need one for that and one for that, and then we're done on that. And then possibly as I get more, I could get that, because there's nothing else to spend them on. But they'll probably bring back some salvage frigate modules from my frigate missions. They bring back quite a few in the long term. Yeah, so I feel like rather than just running another derelict, we'll maybe end up there. We've been going 2 hours 20 minutes, and sounds like my wife needs some help in the garden, so I might go and give her a hand with that. She was texting me about something that she'd have difficulty with in the garden. So thanks for joining me. Maybe next time we'll look at derelicts, but
good stream, thank you.
Thanks very much, Gravnort. Thanks, Ignition.
Great fun stream.
Unless we can think of anything else. We're running out of things to do, but we are running into the last couple of weeks, well, probably the last week of this expedition. So the timing's not bad. Maybe by Monday there'll be like a clear indication of when this will finish, and then we can kind of start gearing up to actually finishing up the expedition that way. Like making sure we've got the best ship we can get, something like that. But as I say, I've been Pharaoh. Travel well, and goodbye for now.